Good evening. I call to order this regular meeting of the Gladstone City Council for Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. It is 6:30 p.m. The City of Gladstone is abiding by guidelines set forth in House Bill 2560, which requires the governing body of the public body, to the extent reasonably possible, to make all meetings accessible remotely through technological means and provide opportunity for members of the general public to remotely submit oral and written testimony during meetings to the extent in-person oral and written testimony is allowed. Therefore, this meeting will be open to the public both in person and virtually using the Zoom platform. The Zoom instructions were on the agenda to the meeting. If members of the public would like to comment on an agenda item, either virtually or in person, they were to have emailed their comments or request to speak to the city recorder prior to noon today. Individuals attending in person may submit a speaker card to the city recorder at the beginning of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The City Council will also have Gladstone City event announcements during the meeting and business from the audience at the end of the meeting. To speak during either time, again, virtually or in person, please, you are to have emailed the city recorder prior to noon today with your name, topic of discussion, and city of residence. And individuals attending in person may also submit a speaker card to the city recorder at the beginning of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee. Counselor Mitchell.
Here.
Counselor Blaug.
Present.
Counselor Labonte.
Here.
Counselor Farley. Counselor Garlington.
Present.
Mayor Milch.
Present. Please stand for the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll begin tonight's meeting with the reading of a proclamation. Whereas mental health is part of everyone's overall health and well-being, and mental illnesses are prevalent in our county, state, and nation, with 1 in 5 adults experiencing a mental health issue every year. And whereas stigma and the resulting discrimination is a primary obstacle to early identification and effective treatment of individuals with mental illness and their ability to recover to lead full, productive lives. And whereas approximately half of chronic mental illness begins by the age of 14, and suicide is the second leading cause of death of individuals aged 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. And whereas long delays in averaging 11 years occur between the time symptoms first appear and when individuals get help, and it is therefore essential to cure the stigma and discrimination that is the primary cause for those delays. And whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping cure the stigma and discrimination that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraged people from getting help. And whereas public education and civic engagement improves the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Michael Milch, Mayor of the City of Gladstone, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month, to increase public understanding of the importance of mental health, to promote identification and timely treatment of mental illnesses, and to cure the resulting stigma and discrimination. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 12th day of May, 2026. Michael Milch, Mayor of Gladstone, Oregon. And I believe we have a representative of the National Alliance on Mental Health and NAMI to speak to us tonight. Is Mr. Hunt on the line? Okay.
Are you able to hear me?
We are. Welcome, Dave.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you reading that proclamation, Mr. Mayor. There's obviously a lot of bad news in that proclamation about mental health, because we do have a challenging situation with mental health in our community, state, and nation. But I also want to share good news about opportunities that are available to all residents of Gladstone and all residents of Clackamas County, because the biggest thing we can all do is make a difference in recognizing our own mental health challenges and in identifying and recognizing the challenges of people around us. And there is so much help and resources available. I thought I'd just spend a minute or two going through some of the free services that are available to, again, all residents of Gladstone and Clackamas County. Every week, we have multiple support groups offered through NAMI Clackamas. Some for peers who have a mental health condition led by other peers, some for family members of those with a mental health condition led by other family members. All of those are free, some in person, some online. We also have classes. Probably our most popular classes are our 8-week peer-to-peer class and our 8-week family-to-family class. Again, the peer-to-peer class is taught by peers for other peers with a mental health condition, and the family-to-family is taught by family members for other family members. 8 weeks, a deep dive, and also finding a community of people who are going through the exact same thing you're going through. Those 8-week classes are all free. We're right in the middle of the cohorts of both of those right now, but we're always taking signups for the next one. We also have, in fact, we just hired today our 4th peer support specialist, who's available to offer one-on-one peer support for free. A lot of people recognize they're having mental health challenges, but don't have a therapist or don't have access to insurance to pay for a therapist. Our trained peer support specialists offer one-on-one assistance for free. Hopefully, sometimes as a bridge to therapy, or sometimes as a bridge to helping them get insurance. But some people just use that as ongoing peer support. So lots of amazing opportunities for people to not just recognize, as your proclamation, Mr. Mayor, does, the importance of mental health awareness, but actually to take action for ourselves and those we care about. How do we do all this? We have lots of volunteer opportunities. Last year, we had 131 volunteers across Clackamas County who teach and facilitate and volunteer in other ways. And we have lots of events. And one event I would highlight for you all, because it's going to be a fun one. They say laughter is the best medicine. And we're doing a NAMI Clackamas Theater Night up at Clackamas Repertory Theater in Oregon City on Thursday, June 25th. And all Clackamas Rep has donated the tickets to NAMI Clackamas, so all the ticket sales go to support our free programs and services. That's going to be on June 25th at 7:30 p.m. A fun, fabulous show and a great way to support mental health. So we appreciate Mayor and Council you taking the time tonight, and thanks for recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thank you, Dave Hunt, for sharing those resources with us. We appreciate it. All right, next we have an introduction to the interim Gladstone School Superintendent, Dr. Karen Gray. Hello. Have a seat, and if you'll push the button on that microphone in front of you, it will come on, and the red light will indicate it's on for you. There you go.
There we go. Good evening, and thank you, Mayor Milch and Gladstone City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself, and to awfully glad also to see the Gladstone School District Board Chair here, Donna Diggs, and Vice Chair Quackenbush, and also Andrew Labonte, who is also on our board. In small towns, the relationship between the city and the school district is considered essential because schools often serve as the primary community hubs. Together, we attend athletics, literacy nights, career technical education showcases, fairs, fundraisers, concerts, plays, parent-teacher conferences, and much more. The community schools are the places where the community gathers when times are good and when times are bad. Chief of Police John Schmerber told me that when he thinks about the health of the community, he looks to see how the children are doing. I think that way as well. Healthy schools make healthy children who then gain important skills and knowledge to become healthy and productive adults. When cities and schools truly work together, communities usually see benefits in 4 major key areas. cost savings and resource development. Sharing services like recreational facilities, facilities maintenance, and purchasing can lead to significant budgetary savings for both the city and the school district. In addition, when healthy, thriving schools flourish, those seeking to purchase real estate check out the schools to see if they are the kinds of schools they'd like their children to attend. Real estate values rise and everyone benefits. Property values go up and the schools gain enrollment. Strong schools help make communities places where families want to live and grow and stay. It is a big win-win. The third area of benefit is holistic student support. Collaboration allows for community school models that integrate health services, mental wellness, and enrichment directly into the student's experience. The Gladstone Center for Children and Families is a clear example of this holistic student support. It starts with nursery relief, then on to Head Start and preschool promises programs, also preschool teaching partnership programs, and then on to kindergarten. There is a medical office and a dental office, along with an employment center, all under one roof. Great example of a holistic student support. And then economic and social resilience. Strong partnerships connect classroom learning with local industries and civic goals, helping our students prepare for local workforce and stabilizing our neighborhoods. Students learn and grow in the schools, and businesses in the community offer hands-on, on-site, and on-the-job employment opportunities for kids. Internships, apprenticeships in our community teach kids how to get prepared for real-life work and even promote leadership skills. And we need lots of leaders in our community. When Gladstone gets its long-awaited bond, as many local contractors as possible will be brought into the work, thereby developing needful economic benefits directly for the city of Gladstone. And finally, improved outcomes. Strategic partnerships, like between cities and school districts, are linked to better academic performance, higher graduation rates, and lower chronic absenteeism. Who can argue with those improvements? Gladstone has enjoyed a very good graduation rate, often higher than the rest of the state. If working together, we can do something that raises academic performance and increases attendance, then I think we should do it. Our children's futures depend on us. In closing, it makes all the sense in the world for the Gladstone School District and the city of Gladstone to work diligently together in order to create a better living experience for all Gladstone people. Districts can't do it alone, and we wouldn't want to. We need each other, and we want to build each other up. We are better together. Let us keep striving and working together to do great things for kids, families, and all of the people of Gladstone. Together, we are Gladstone strong. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself tonight. And it's been a pleasure working with Mayor Milch, and it's so nice to meet all of you. And I hope that we can have a lot of fun and work together in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Gray, for coming tonight and for articulating the importance of that partnership that we share together.
Thank you so much.
All right. Are there any agenda additions or corrections for tonight, Administrator Betts?
I have none, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so we will begin as usual with our consent agenda. Tonight we have 7 items. I'll read them off. The approval of our April 14th, 2026 regular minutes, the approval of March 2026 bank balances, budget report for the period ending March 31st, 2026, legal costs for February 2026, department head monthly reports for April 2026, approval of Oregon Liquor License Commission OLCC application for Gladstone Oak Lodge Rotary for the beer garden at the Gladstone Community Festival, and the awarding of a contract to Blackline for annual street slurry seal maintenance. Would any member of the council like to pull any item from the consent agenda?
I'd like to pull item 6.
Item 6, okay. All right, we'll hold on to that one for the time being. Is there a motion to approve the remainder of the items in the consent agenda?
So moved.
And seconded?
All right, it is moved by Councilor Mitchell and seconded by Councilor Garlington. Haley, would you call the roll, please?
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the consent agenda, with the exception of item 6, is approved by a vote of 5-0. And now, Councilor Garlington, you had some questions or concerns about item 6.
Yes, on page 6 too. And my apologies for not asking this earlier. I forgot that I had it flagged. Can somebody explain to me why there is a box checked to proposing to allow minors? I knew you'd know it.
Well, minors are allowed there in that, and they're not serving minors alcohol, but there will be food allowed. And that's why they check the box to see if there will be minors on site.
So as I've always understood it, there was a beer garden and there
Yes.
was no minors allowed in there. So there will be this year?
That might be something that you want to ask the applicant. But he'll need to come up to the mic.
Bob, if you could come
Okay.
forward, please. Bob Everett from the Gladstone Oak Lodge Rotary is here.
Okay. In years past, Mindy, there have been minors in the beer garden, pretty much throughout the day until after 8 o'clock. So that's pretty much when we stop minors, because they've been there when we had bingo and other sort of activities inside the beer garden. And there is food that's provided there, which is required, which we have on the side. But again, we are actually we're changing locations. We're moving down, which will be close to the movie in the park. We're actually going to be moving. I believe we're going to be moving the fencing so that allows more space that has no kids after 8 o'clock. Okay, because we are going to be opening the beer garden earlier, but again, at 8, as we move towards the movie, we'll be moving that fence so that kids can sit on the hill and things like that. So, okay, so yeah, okay.
That's all.
Any other questions about beer garden? Okay, all righty, super,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right,
So
would-
I will make a motion to
Okay.
approve item 6 of the consent agenda.
all right.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilor Garlington and seconded by Councilor Bonte to approve the new license application to OLCC for the Gladstone Oak Lodge Rotary to operate and manage the beer garden area at the Gladstone Community Festival. Any further discussion? Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. All right, we have no correspondence, so we move to Gladstone City event announcements. Do we have anyone who has requested to make some announcements about city events tonight?
Yes, we do. We have 3.
All right. If you would call them in order, please.
Nicole Quackenbush,
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you so much for having me. For those who may not know me, I'm Nicole Quackenbush, Vice Chair of the Gladstone School Board, and I'm here this evening on behalf of Save Gladstone Schools PAC, a community-led political action committee made up of parents, grandparents, staff, and community members who are working to support and advocate for our local schools. I first just want to thank everyone who attended our PAC meeting on May 6th at the Brew. We had a wonderful turnout, and it was truly exciting to see so much energy and support for Gladstone schools. A very special thank you to Cameron and the entire team at the Brew for hosting us and generously being such enthusiastic supporters of our schools and community. Their hospitality really meant a lot, and we're incredibly grateful to have local businesses willing to partner with us as we continue this important work. The meeting gave community members an opportunity to hear updates about the district's ongoing facilities and bond planning efforts and learn more about the work ahead. We were also fortunate to hear from Dr. Karen Gray, our interim superintendent, who is here with us this evening. Love it. It was wonderful to see her already engaging so thoughtfully with our community and stepping into her role with such enthusiasm and care. More than anything, though, it was just encouraging to see neighbors coming together because they care deeply about our schools and the future of our community. That kind of engagement and support matters tremendously. I also want to share that our next Save Gladstone Schools PAC meeting will be held on June 17th at High Rocks in their private event space. Community members can start arriving at 5:30 with programming starting at 6 p.m. We plan to continue hosting these meetings on the third Wednesday of each month moving forward. We're incredibly grateful to Elle and the team at High Rocks for opening their space to us and for being such supportive community partners. Whether someone has attended previous meetings or is brand new and simply wants to learn more or get involved, everyone is welcome. These gatherings are a great opportunity not only to support our schools, but also to connect with neighbors and strengthen our community together. So thank you. Any questions? No. Okay.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Nancy Eichstead.
Well,
Hi, thanks. Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm here on behalf of the Friends of Gladstone Nature Park to report on our event, the Gladstone Arbor Day and Plant Sale. And we were the recipient of one of Gladstone's tourism grants, and we were very grateful for that startup money to get us started on this particular event. Just to give you a brief recap. We had estimated attendance of 596 people came to the park. And we're still hearing from people that they've never been up there before. So we're really glad that we can introduce the park to them in this way. The total volunteer hours for the event on that day and the day before and setup were 431 hours of volunteer time. Doesn't include the hours of the committee for the prep and the marketing and the picking up plants and working through that whole process. We had 14 local nurseries donate over 1,000 plants for the sale, which we really appreciate. We worked with 7 additional nurseries for wholesale plants. We bring in like the hanging baskets and native plants, things that we really need to have there. And they give us wonderful pricing. The Gladstone High School Greenhouse Program provided over 6 tables of vegetable starts to fill in for that portion of the sale. And VASA does a wonderful job with those students, so we really appreciate that. We had 18 participating vendors, nonprofits, folks that were lined on either side of the path. And we really, really appreciate them. A lot of them from last year, but the new vendors this year, we had a soil scientist, we had the Prescott Bluebird Recovery Program, we had an author, and we had the Gladstone Community Center's youth programs. The Scout Troop 144 helped load cars. The Gladstone Baseball Snack Shack kept us fed all day. We had a food barrel for the Gladstone Food Pantry that was emptied 3 times. Our partners from Treehouse Preschool provided 3 giant wagons. If you've been to the sale, you know how important the wagons are. I wanted to thank the city staff. The park staff did a really good job mowing and getting the park ready, trimmed, beautiful looking, made sure everything was in order, including the porta potty. It's a story behind that I won't go into. Officer Teague and his 4 cadets really helped us out with traffic. It makes a huge difference having those people up there encouraging the crosswalk usage. Parking was provided by the Mormon Church and the Tri-City Baptist Temple, and we couldn't do events up there without the parking. I'm going to keep going. I'm almost done.
go ahead. Yeah.
All right, thank you. They even had their own event going on at the Mormon Church that day, and it was no problem. So people came from Gladstone, but they came from greater Clackamas County, Portland, and Vancouver. There were 42 zip codes represented when we looked at our sales at the end. The event's layout enabled people to visit the newly paved trail, and they were very excited about the improvements that the city is doing to help the park. So if you didn't make the sale and you still need some plants for your yard, please stop by the spring market at the community center next Saturday from 9 to 3, and you'll find some more plants. We hope you do. Yes? What?
Spring sales
This Saturday, yes. Well, that is the next one. Yeah, next Saturday. So stop by. There'll be plenty of things there for you to pick up.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm sensing a common theme tonight of the great way that groups in the community collaborate with one another on things that are really of value to everyone. So, well, we appreciate this annual event and your update on the great results. So
thanks, Mayor. I think I saw you up there.
Yes, I was
too.
Robert Everett.
We'll see you Saturday.
Hello again, and thank you so much for allowing me to sort of elaborate on the beer garden. My name is Bob Everett, and welcome again. I'm glad you welcome me every week or every month, although I miss a few here and there. Just a couple announcements. I always like to push the clothes closet every Saturday from 10 till 12. It's certainly open to any families that may need clothing or other items. It is fully packed. There's a lot of stuff up there, and we go up once a month and sort of organize it and get it going. And the workers up there work very hard. Also, both Becky and Paulette do a great job. We are having bingo again this Friday. Doors open at 4:50. Bingo starts at 5:30, and the group is the Gladstone girls softball team. So they came last year. It was a lot of fun, and we hope to get a good turnout for them. I know their tournaments are coming up here lately then too. A little bit more on the festival. As I mentioned before, we will be moving the beer garden and the bingo down to the bottom, and we'll be sort of closer to pickleball. And we hope to get more of those individuals into the beer garden. I heard they were excited, even though we've always been there. We'll be having 3 bingo, just like before. And I want to thank Michelle for all the work she has done. She came to our club and sort of talked to us about some of the things we were concerned about, some traffic issues, getting some of the seniors down into the bingo. There's going to be a shuttle that seniors can ride. So that should help out a great deal. And she sort of allayed a lot of our fears. So and she's doing a wonderful job. And I want to thank the city for putting on the event. Should be fun. Looking forward to it this year. If anybody has any questions, I'm here. So, nope.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Everett.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Okay. Bye.
All right, we move to our regular agenda. We have 3 major items. One is the resolution 1255 to voluntarily reduce the amount of property taxes collected under the city's permanent tax rate and end the collection of the fire levy. Next is the agreement for disposition and development of certain real property identified as tax lot 22E20CA06500 in the county of Clackamas, state of Oregon. That's the old library property. And an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, between Clackamas County, the city of Oregon City, and the city of Gladstone for the river rescue program at High Rocks. So let's start with item 9, resolution 1255. I turn to staff for this presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. So as you recall, back when ballot measure 3627 was passed in the November 4th, 2025 election, it allowed the city of Gladstone to annex into Clackamas Fire District. And since that time, we've been going through a series of steps to make that annexation happen, which becomes effective July 1 of 2026. Tonight, we are keeping our promise to the ratepayers and the voters by electing to voluntarily reduce the amount of property taxes that the city collects in order to help offset this annexation. And so beginning July 1st, 2026, we will collect $1.75 per thousand less of assessed value from the permanent rate, which is currently $4.8174 per thousand. This is the amount that previously reflect what we had in our budget for fire services. In addition to that, we are also terminating our fire levy, which is 31 cents per thousand as of June 30th, 2026. So in total, we are voluntarily reducing $2.06 per thousand of which we are collecting. Now, remember when we went through this process, Clackamas Fire District's rate is $2.40 per thousand. So that is the new item that will show up on the property tax statement, and ours will be reduced by the $2.06. In your packet, I gave you a copy of the form LB50. The assessor's office only wants you to file what you will be collecting, not what you're getting rid of. And so in the packet, what you have is you will see on line 1 that our new rate that we will be collecting is 3.0674. And also we will be collecting the 68 cents for the police levy. I'm going to have Haley pull up what we filed last year so you can see what the difference is. And as you see at the bottom, highlighted in yellow, last year it shows that we were collecting our full property tax rate plus the police levy plus the fire levy. So what this LB50 that you have in your packet tonight, along with the resolution, shows is that we are fulfilling our obligation to the community by reducing the amount that we collect. So the city attorney and I prepared the resolution. If you have any questions, we can go through it. I will say that it's very rare that cities reduce the amount that they collect in property taxes, and I hope that you can feel very good about doing this. We're still able to maintain our current service levels. In the ballot measure, we said that we would do this for 3 consecutive years. So each year when we file our LB50 for the next 3 years, it will show these numbers in your packet tonight. If you have any questions for Chad and I, we'd be happy to answer them.
All right, Councilor Mitchell.
This isn't a question, but for your 2025 to the 2026 form, Clackamas is spelled wrong in 2 spots. I don't know if that needs to be corrected for.
Yes, we will correct that. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Garlington.
Well, I would just like to say that I've been up here for a few years now, and the board that sits here, our council that sits here now is not the people that I sat around 6 years ago talking about what are we going to do about our fire services. And it was 3 years of a lot of talking and wanting our residents to have the very, very best emergency medical service they could get when their time of need came and they had to make that call, which some of you may know the feeling, some of you may not. That here nor there. I'm not, trying to put feelings on anyone, but it was a lot of work and it was a lot of good conversation about what was the best for Gladstone. So almost 6 years later, here we are. And I feel like the talks that we had then, the promises that we made then are what our staff and this council, even here, are finishing. And my hat's off to all of you for every conversation you've had with anybody that has questioned the decisions that we've made up here. But I just want everyone to know that after almost 6 years, that I just still feel like this is the absolute best that Gladstone can do for the people who live in this town, especially when they have to make that call. So, thank you.
Thank you. And it wasn't just a decision made up here. It was a decision made by the voters that, you know, and it was our job to encourage them to make a well-informed decision. And I believe they did. I agree with you that this is good for us. It is good for the region to have, you know, the fire, Clackamas Fire District incorporate all of this immediate region is very efficient, I think, in providing good services. So
Thank you for adding all of that. That is just so true. Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Any questions? Are we ready to, does someone like to make a motion regarding the resolution?
I move to approve Resolution 1255, electing to voluntarily reduce the amount of property tax collected under the city's permanent property tax rate for a 3-year period and end the collection of the fire levy in anticipation of annexation into Clackamas Fire District 1.
Seconded.
All right. It's been moved by Councilor Garlington and seconded by Councilor Mitchell. Any further discussion? All right. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the motion passes 5-0. The resolution is adopted. We move to item 10. To consider authorizing the city administrator to execute the finalized disposition and development agreement, DDA, between the city of Gladstone and Weldon Development LLC for the redevelopment of the former Gladstone Library property at 135 East Dartmouth. Again, we turn to our city administrator.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Again, great news to share tonight as this project has been underway for over a year. Very thoughtful, community engaged process went into this. I'm going to have John Lagarza give you a little bit of update since the last time we publicly talked about this on March 10th. We also held an executive session. And so we'll recap that for you and then you can make a decision.
Good evening, Mayor and
John.
Council. Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, great. Well, happy to be here again. And again, like Jackie said, this is really exciting. You know, we started, if you recall, last summer going out to the parks and doing a survey during the Music on the Greens with the community and getting the input from the community and just talking about the community engagement that we've had for the old library. I think we've done a fantastic job. And I want to thank, you know, the counselors. After we did the survey in the middle of the summer, we had an open house for the community too, if you recall, and you all came in. And I want to thank you for a lot of your time and investment to help this asset move forward for the city. So public engagement has been outward transparency through this whole process. After that, we came forward and talked about setting up a blue ribbon committee, which we brought to the council. And we met 3 times with the blue ribbon committee. And through that process, they provided input to the RFP and also to the scoring criteria. So I think that has been a really demonstrated success, again, of involving the community and participants from that leaders in our community. Tonight in front of you, we've come in about 2 times in the last couple of months to talk to you about this proposal. As the final agreements with Weldon, who's a proven actor who has property in Oregon City and Canby, has worked with cities and been a good steward of operations there. So really going through the input on the DDA, city will be selling the property for $50,000. Weldon will be making a minimum investment of over $400,000 into the property from that standpoint. It also has some clawback options in there, a 6-year covenant term if the property should be sold earlier. the net sale would be 25% of the proceeds would come back to the city there. So the deal structure to be able to have flexibility for financing, to be able to allow the developer to move forward with the project in a timely manner. And I think it's important to really think about, we've had a property that sat dormant since the new library has been completed. It's highly visible. It's at a critical location on Portland Avenue where we wanted to provide active area in there, and also with signals, confidence in our investment in the Portland area and Portland Avenue in the downtown there. It's also an opportunity to show how a city can move forward and have private capital come in, but also this is a property that did not receive any property taxes, and we'll be putting that back on the tax rolls and also be creating jobs at this intersection here too. So the balance between all these has been, carefully constructed within the DDA, input from the community and from the Blue Ribbon community and from you as the city council there. So tonight we're asking for you to give approval to the city manager to authorize signing the DDA, which will allow Weldon Development to start the process and move forward with their due diligence and move forward with the property acquisition here tonight. So again, excited, and I just can't thank the council enough for all your participation. Council Lamani, Garlington, you've all been very active, involved in there, and the mayor too. So really appreciate your help and participation in this as we've moved it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the proposed contract appears in our packet tonight. It's a lot of pages, but I want to let people know that beginning on page 10-53 are some renderings of what this building is proposed to look like when it's completed and in operation. And I think people will see that it will be a good restoration of this building to much of what it looked like originally, but modified for new purpose in our community. And I think people will be happy with the results. Also, there are some photographs of some of the other work that this company has done, the Weldon folks have done in other cities like Oregon City and Canby. So
And Mayor, I also
Yes.
wanted to add that today we found out a determination from BOLI on whether or not the project is subject to the prevailing wage rate laws, and it is not. So that is good news for Bryce to be able to invest in this project. But that's a 4-page findings of fact that we have to go in this file as well.
all right, good. We'll include that document to make sure that everything is following the rules that the state has established on this. And let me open this up to any questions or comments from members of the council.
I just had one.
Go ahead,
For some
Councilor
reason,
Garland.
I thought I read in here, which and I didn't have my highlighter when I was reading it, that there was going to be an indoor food, but I thought it was only outdoor, or the food cart on the outside of the building. Is that still what's happening?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to
Instead
make
of
sure.
putting a kitchen inside the building, he's using a food cart, but people can eat inside the building.
And so that being said, is there does that food cart or whatever is there for food always have to be does that have to be a part of it at all times? As I understand, which could be just something that somebody said to me at one time, that if you're serving alcohol, you have to have food.
That's correct.
Okay. So that will always be,
Correct.
somebody will be there. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that clarification. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Lagarza or Ms. Betts?
Thank you for everyone's work on this. The community got together and we had a property that was breaking down, and I think the terms are good for the city. There's some back and forth about that around the community, but I think that it's a huge plus for Gladstone. I'm really excited for it. So thank you, John, too. It's been a pleasure working with you on this one. It's been fun.
It's been a pleasure with all of you too. It's exciting. Really excited for this.
Yeah, but he's not done yet. So
No, we're just starting.
We got to get it built.
So would someone like to make a motion to authorize the city administrator to execute the finalized contract? Councilor Black.
Thank you. I move to authorize the city administrator to execute the development and disposition agreement with Weldon Development for the redevelopment of the former Gladstone Library property located at 135 East Dartmouth Avenue, consistent with the terms presented to the council.
And I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Blaug, seconded by Counselor Labonte. Any further discussion?
No, I'm just taking a deep breath because this is a biggie.
Yeah, we talk about having worked on this for the last year or so, but yet if you put it in the context of the entire library, history, it goes back way longer than that.
Way.
But it's great to not only have a new library, but a new use for the old library. So it's a good
And a good use.
good thing. Yeah.
It's going to look good. I'm really impressed.
Well, and I think it will add to what we've heard tonight again, that whole thing of feeling more like a community, people having places and opportunities to get together, to, just to meet one another in casual ways and get to know each other better, and to attract people to our downtown. So it will serve a lot of good purposes. All right, the motion has been made and seconded. Go ahead.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the motion is approved 5-0. So Administrator Betts, you are authorized.
Thank you.
The last item on our regular agenda is item 11, to consider approving an intergovernmental agreement between Clackamas County, the city of Gladstone, and the city of Oregon City regarding river rescue services at High Rocks Park. Once again, we turn to Administrator Betts.
Thank you. As you know, this also has been a long project in the making. A couple of years ago, AMR notified the city that they no longer would have the funding to continue the river safety program at High Rocks Park. Last year, we were able to negotiate one more year with them without the cities having to financially contribute to that. This year, we got involved early. The city manager of Oregon City, myself, Clackamas County, and AMR met several times to discuss, are we going to continue the program? And if so, who's going to pay for it? As you know, Clackamas County renegotiated a new agreement with AMR for ambulance services. As part of that agreement, rates doubled for AMR. And I believe that AMR and Clackamas County should have continued to pay for this program. They refused to do that. The cost was $250,000 to the city if we wanted to continue it between Memorial Day and Labor Day, $250,000. So we came up with some strategic solutions, and we decided that Oregon City, Clackamas County, and Gladstone would split a pot of days where it will include the 3 holiday weekends. So Memorial Day weekend, the 4th of July weekend, and Labor Day weekend. And we've also decided that there's 12 days budgeted for when the heat index is above 90 degrees, which is typically when we get the most influx of people out at High Rocks. And that came to about $35,000. So Gladstone's portion would be $11,630 if we use all 12 of those 90-degree days. Oregon City graciously offered to be the host of this IGA, which basically means they will be the ones to activate in AMR if they're needed out there on those days. So what this IGA does is it allows Oregon City to send me an invoice for our portion that we owe to them, and they will also invoice Clackamas County. I feel confident that this stopgap is going to be a good approach for this year. There were a lot of times when AMR was on site when there was no activity going on, cloudy days, no people. So we're really hopeful to see, by identifying the heat days down there, how this will help. Going forward, though, we still need to have some tough conversations. I may ask elected officials to talk to Board of County Commissioners about the value and importance of this safety program. But obviously, the city just does not have the $250,000 from our general fund to continue it. So tonight, you are authorizing me to sign this IGA to get us through one more season at High Rocks with the lifeguards on duty. I also wanted to add that Chief Schmerber has met with Oregon Patrol Services, and they also will be on site around the same times as AMR to help with that extra activity when our police officers aren't available to be at High Rocks.
All right, thank you. I have a couple of questions. We mentioned 12 days. We don't know at the beginning of the summer how many 90-degree days there are going to be.
Correct.
Was there any kind of option in the contract for having additional days if, suppose we get to the end of August and all of a sudden we have a heat wave?
Yeah, it says in here that we will renegotiate.
Okay.
That's the language.
So we'll have to figure out something, but maybe a per diem basis could be negotiated for an additional amount.
Correct.
Okay. And I want to turn to Councilor Labonte because at a previous meeting, you expressed, an interest in this. This is a city park. This is a recognized city park in Gladstone. I've not used it much. I was one of the people who went down there one day just to see it for the first time. And it was a day when the river rescue lifeguards were swimming in the water and I was the only person there. So your thoughts on this approach and whether having this service would, you feel it's a,
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, Mayor. Right on, because on some days, you can talk to lifeguards there. They'll have over 400 people there. And it's busy. People are jumping in. It's crazy. Everyone's having fun. There's families there. There are little kids that are jumping in for the first time. And they've got, AMR has their flotation devices. And it's perhaps more wholesome than a lot of people might think of, when they think of High Rock sometimes. But and then during the pandemic, when the AMR services weren't there, there was a definite shift in kind of what that area was like. The lifeguards do have a tendency to kind of, any hooliganism, I don't know if that's the appropriate word, but kind of goes further away from the lifeguard station, I think this approach is great. I look forward to seeing at the end of the year when we reevaluate, because exactly right. There's so many days when I'm looking there's like 4 or 5 lifeguards and there's like 4 or 5 swimmers and you just start doing the math. You're like, this one doesn't add up. But then the other days when it's super busy. So I'm really excited for this. In theory, I'd love to see, our water safety is really important and some funding mechanism in the future to make sure that we have lifeguards there throughout the summer, I think is the gold standard. But I think this approach is reasonable. I hope.
All right. Well, thank you for that input. Because I wanted to hear from a park user.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I overcame my fear of diving from heights at High Rock, so I've got a big appreciation for it. And it's an interesting place. And if I can just add, it is by far, in my experience in Gladstone, the most diverse place that I've seen. You've got folks from all. So Oregon, we're known for our outdoor sports. People travel from out of the country to Oregon, they land in Portland, they type in cliff diving and High Rocks comes up. You see license plates from all over the place. Folks speaking all different languages. On that, there's a parking lot there where there are no parking signs, but and oftentimes folks that get towed are not, English speakers. So that's a side note, and I have feelings about that. But anyway, so yeah, it's a great asset to our city. I think often is under recognized. But anyways, thank you.
All right, Councilor Garlington.
Well, I'm glad you go down there because I will never overcome my fear of jumping into that water ever. I wanted to know about the life jacket program. Is that only going to be there when the lifeguards are there? Is that a possibility to get life jackets down there? I mean, if they had some lovely neon green, orange, something that said, this really isn't yours to keep.
Yeah, we did discuss it during our conversations. Theft, people are going to take them if they're not there. They will be there while the lifeguards are there. I asked for a confirmation email a couple of days ago from AMR and I haven't heard back, but I'm not guessing that they're going to keep the life jackets down there for the season.
Okay, darn. All right. And then I just wanted to say out loud that I'm not thrilled to death that we're using West funds for this project because being a person that was on the Parks Board for many years, every dollar the Parks Board has to spend is spent so carefully. And the projects that the Parks Board does far exceeds the amount of money that they had to spend. So spending this amount of money from that fund, I feel like I wish we could have found it from somewhere else, just saying it out loud. But I understand the importance, and a life saved is money well spent. So thank you.
Well, I think on that issue, Clackamas County and Oregon City and the city of Gladstone are all partners in WES. And that's the purpose of those funds, is to particularly support programs that are near the water, that they treat and put treated water back into. So I find a consistency with that. And it is, this is, as we say, a park for the city of Gladstone. So I see we have some members of our Parks Board here tonight. This is another way of supporting a park which could potentially have, a whole different level of involvement among the community if we supervise it in a more structured way like this. But I appreciate your comment and your concern about that. And I think to go from $250,000 down to less than $15,000 is good stewardship of our parks funds, because that's where it would have had to have come from before.
Correct.
On the days when we don't anticipate high temperatures and we don't have them on staff, will we have signage that says no lifeguard on duty, something to that effect?
Yes, there will be. And if there is an emergency, 911 will go down there. I just want to be clear about that. Just because there's not a lifeguard doesn't mean, if they have an emergency, you're going to get Clackamas Fire, you're going to get the sheriff's boat service up there, or AMR. This is just an extra program that we're paying for to have down there because we understand the importance of it.
All right, Councilor Mitchell.
So being that we already had like a 90-degree day in, what was that, April?
It was 87.
Okay. Forgive me. It felt like 90. So let's say we already use our 12 allotted days up by July, hypothetically. I know that this negotiation took a little bit of time. So how expedited could a needed negotiation happen? Should it?
It would happen fast. We're going to know as we get closer to even using 6, 7, 8 days, whether or not we're going to have to start having conversations. But like I said, the city manager, myself, and Clackamas County, we're committed to making this happen. And 12 days, how did you come to that number? Well, it's a wag, it's a guess. But if we start going through those pretty rapidly, we're going to have other issues citywide that we need to deal with as well. But we'll have those conversations before we get to day 12.
All right. Thank you, councilors, for thinking about those contingencies and preparing for them. And thank you, Administrator Betts, for your work in helping to negotiate this. Is there a motion by a member of the council to authorize the city administrator to approve the agreement? Page 11-2.
I can do this. The city council authorized the city administrator to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between Clackamas County, the city of Gladstone, and the city of Oregon City regarding river rescue services at High Rocks Park.
All right. So Councilor Garlington has moved that that we adopt the staff recommendation.
Seconded.
Is seconded by Councilor Mitchell. Any further discussion? All right.
Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington.
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. The motion is approved 5-0. So you again are authorized to approve this contract.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of our regular agenda. We have no business carried forward. Did we have anyone who requested to speak on business from the audience?
Yes, we have one. Glinda Shearer.
All right, Glenda, you may come forward. And you know how to work the microphone?
Thank you. Hello, City Council. My name is Glinda Shear, and I'm a longtime resident of Gladstone. And I own a small in-home business where I teach kids to read and write and have been very successful with that. I recently attended a Gladstone business meetup where the city shared plans for how they had for helping businesses on Portland Avenue grow. And it was an amazing experience, and the pictures are beautiful if you've not had an opportunity to see those. It's very exciting to see the efforts that the city is making towards helping businesses grow and thrive. When we have businesses that grow and thrive, we have a community that grows and thrives. I've been thinking a lot about the property taxes that we pay in Gladstone, as we've lived here for nearly 20 years. We want a community, we want to live in a community where families can open a business and be successful. We want to live in a community where families can buy a home or rent here if this is where they want to live. I'm very concerned that despite the efforts that the city is doing to help businesses thrive, many will fail. And the reason why I say this is I think, how can a business thrive when they have such high taxes? And I'm especially concerned about a potential school bond with a yet to be revealed amount. The previous bond in 2006 was for $39.85 million. My 2025 portion for that line item was nearly $1,300. I pulled the tax records for a Gladstone restaurant. This last year, they paid over $20,000 for their property taxes. $4,434.92 was the line item for the Gladstone school bond. Again, how can businesses thrive with those high property taxes, which are just a portion of the expenses they have to stay open? If you want Gladstone businesses and families to thrive, as I do, I urge you to have a Gladstone City Hall meeting with businesses and community members, taxpayers, who will be the people to foot the bill, to talk openly about property taxes and a potential bond. I'm encouraged to see that the superintendent was here and that she seems to want to have that conversation. Together, I think we can solve the problems that the district is facing while still making a community that can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, we move on to business from the council. We will just go in the order we've been going tonight. I will start with Councillor Mitchell.
Hello, I would like to recognize that May, we're in May. May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It is also National Military Appreciation Month. So thank you for people that serve for us. Also, I think it's already been mentioned tonight, but the spring market is happening this Saturday, May 16th at the Gladstone Community Center, 9 to 3 p.m. Also, the Clackamas Bookshelf is doing their monthly book sale fundraiser this Sunday, May 17th, 9 to 2 p.m. at Cracksburger Middle School. Thank you.
Did you say Sunday?
Sunday.
All right. Councillor Black.
All right, let's see. I thought I'd do a small update on Metro Future Vision. We are currently working on our opening statement to the sort of the beginning portion of the actual writing of this document. We are also still in our community involvement or outreach phase, and there is a survey. So if people go to the Metro Future Vision site, you can take that survey. It's about community values and how we see our region growing. That survey and the Future Vision work will inform a lot of sort of future development of housing and infrastructure and transportation. So it's an opportunity to weigh in on something on a sort of regional level. So I encourage people to do that. Let's see what else. So I was at the Parks Board last night, and there's a lot of really great things happening with the parks. And I just wanted to sort of do a quick brief update. So we selected a design for Nick Shannon, and we are working on the colors for that. But we have the play structure, and it looks really fun, I have to say. The fog nap bathroom and bird blind is also in the works. And we had a really interesting wildfire assessment from Clackamas Fire. And, there's a lot of really good news in it, as well as, they have basically, there's a map that you can go to online, and it will pinpoint your wildfire hazard rate. And so they did that for all of Oregon, all of Gladstone. And it is, it looks like we are generally lower risk compared to a lot of Clackamas County, especially towards the edges as you get out into those sort of more wilderness areas. We have a couple of parks that was identified, and we will be working with that to resolve that. And there's several grants coming up, and we look forward to hearing about those sort of more officially. And but it looks like we will be getting additional money this year for our parks, which is awesome. And lastly, I went to the Metro Mixer at the zoo. That was always fun. And I think that's about it.
All right. Thank you. Councillor Levante.
Sure. Thank you. I'll be quick. As a liaison to the Traffic Safety Board, there's been a lot of keeps coming up, but there's a lot of talk about the many things, but specifically the Webster Oatfield intersection, some visibility issues at that intersection. Anybody's tried to cross the street of that intersection or just gazed at the beautiful infrastructure that is woefully outdated. I think we're approaching a time where we might need to really think about that intersection and making some improvements there, per the Traffic Safety Board. And I just wanted, just on a personal note, kind of just comment, in all of us, we've had an opportunity to be at certainly these meetings and various committees and places where we get to ask questions and make decisions. And I would just like to comment on one question I regret not asking when I was a member of the Planning Commission regarding a property very close to us here. I should have asked if we can have an exemption for the paved parking. We had individuals who wanted to develop here for a storage area. The pictures looked great, but ultimately the Planning Commission, this was maybe 3 years ago, we ultimately decided that, said that you have to have it paved. And I regret not bringing up the question of an exemption and having that discussion in that meeting upon reflection, because here we are and that parking lot is still gravel and there's no development there. And just, I reflect on that a lot about, where I feel as I failed as a public servant in that regard. I wish I had asked the question. I wish that we had done that a little bit different for certainly the property owner, and I think really for the city. But on that, there you go, Minnie.
Well, thank you. There have been times I've regretted decisions I've made too. So my hat's off to you for admitting it. So the third week of April, like not everyone, I'm sorry, Councillor Blaug and myself and Administrator Betts got to go to Pendleton for the spring conference. It's just always so nice to be in a room of people who have great ideas, and watching other cities in Oregon grow, and being a lifelong Oregonian, I love being there. So we talked about it at the end of April meeting. We talked about the things that we got to see and do. And if anybody gets a chance to look at that, that was a lot of really good information, and we learned a lot. And Nancy Eichstedt, thank you so much for bringing up the Arbor Day event. I just know that everybody that was there had such a great time. The weather was almost perfect. You couldn't have asked for better weather. But I think all in all, the day just brought so many neighbors together, and that is so important in a community the size of ours and who we are, and the fact that we have a space that we can all come together and just talk about plants, because who doesn't want to hug a plant, you know? So there's that. I went to the Gladstone the school district budget meeting, and the district did pass their budget and their tax rate, as we have done for 2027, or we haven't done ours quite yet, but Tuesday, May 7th was the Gladstone Business Social. I did get to meet, I got to speak with Glenda Shearer from Atlas Learning, the new owner of the brew Colette. No, Cameron, sorry. My apologies to her. And then the person who owns the Farmers Insurance there on Portland Avenue, and she sure is a fun person. I think the business owners should be super happy to have her, because she's just ready to go all the time. And then I too would like to remind everybody about the spring market on Saturday at the community center. There'll be way more than just the plants from the Friends of Gladstone Nature Park. There'll be another opportunity to meet your neighbors and maybe share a pastry or two and a cup of coffee and just have a good day. And then I did see, and I see Nicole's still here, so I will ask her, that the foundation online auction has begun. It ended, never mind, don't buy. Okay. I did see it on there, and I thought, oh, somebody needs to mention that, but I didn't realize it was over that fast. Okay. That's all I have, and thank you.
Okay.
I
And,
did want to say one more thing.
okay.
I want everyone to have a very happy and safe Memorial Day weekend.
And I will say the city in recent years has done its budgeting on a biennial basis every 2 years. So we did the budget not this year, but previous year, and approved our tax rate then. And what we did tonight was to adjust that tax rate. And some other things that go on may make us need to do a supplemental budget at some point, because, over 2 years, you don't always know. You may get more money coming in than you expected. You may, as a result of new monies coming in, expend more money than we expected. So the public should be aware that even though we do a budget every 2 years, that doesn't mean it's set in stone. And we may be looking at some slight changes in that coming at some point. I attended earlier this week or when was it? No, it was last week. I forget. The Clackamas C4, Clackamas County Coordinating Committee. It was in Milwaukee. We talked to a lot of other representatives of other cities there. And one of the great things was we are focusing a lot on economic development at C4 this year. And there are several other cities besides our own who contract with John LaGarza and Healthy Sustainable Communities, his organization, to do economic development planning and consulting to help cities and businesses work together to create a stronger ecosystem for economic development, and to have businesses as Mrs. Scherer put it earlier, to have businesses thrive in the community, sometimes with the support of the city and sometimes with the support of one another. And so I was really glad to hear from city managers and assistant city managers in other cities who are making use of John's advice and counsel in improving the quality of the business life in their community, and know that we have that same advice coming to us and that we are putting it, I think, to good use, as we saw evidenced by what we're doing with the old library and other things on Portland Avenue. We have tomorrow at 10 o'clock is the groundbreaking ceremony. We'll have those gold shovels for Meadowlark Childcare Facility, which is the old YMCA childcare on Webster near the middle school that has been closed since 2020. It closed during the pandemic and never reopened, and suffered a little bit of damage and vandalism along the way, although there have been expressions of appreciation to our police department for making sure that it wasn't any worse than it was. But tomorrow at 10, we have a groundbreaking. Our congressional representative, Janelle Bynum, secured $1.5 million in federal funds that will go to help the city to add more Head Start programming in this community and to do some infrastructure improvements on that building. So it will have it will be open for childcare for much younger children than the typical Head Start program that we have going on at GCCF. And that means modifications of a lot of the internal facilities, restrooms, things like that. So if you want to come celebrate a new building structure that will help with economic development in this community, and childcare is certainly a big part of that, please come to that event tomorrow. And you have all already mentioned all of the other great activities going on in recent months and coming up. So I won't belabor any of those, but I think that's all we have tonight. We have our council agenda planning document is always included in our packet. We have a work session scheduled for May 26th, 2 weeks from tonight. Our next regular city council meeting is June 9th. So I invite you all to come again. I appreciate members of the public coming and observing our meetings tonight and sharing positive things that are going on in the community. So would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Councilor Mitchell and seconded by Councilor Garlington. Haley, will you call the roll, please? By the way, Haley, thank you for coming and filling in tonight. We appreciate your being here.
Of course. Counselor Mitchell,
Yes.
Counselor Blaug,
Yes.
Counselor Labonte,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, we are adjourned at 7:48 p.m.